started.
Heck yeah, dude.
But yeah, here we are on Inside and Out, folks. Game number 1 of the night. This is the group stages of the Chinese region in the top right. The absolute titan in this region. He is the Blue Terran, known as Time.
And in the bottom left, in the red, the Protoss contender from Mystery Gaming. This is Nanami. Tis the spooky season, October, of course. Good month for Mystery.
Indeed. Not a bad effort getting on a team so soon in your career as well.
Yeah. Also,
cool.
one thing we have to talk, like when we're talking about the level between Time and everyone else in this region, they said that he's the most successful, like he's made more money than any other Chinese player ever. And that's like, this esport has been around for 12 years, and China is a massive region with huge names that have a lot of tournaments that are also massive prize pools. And he's the guy.
Yeah.
Like, it's just goes to show you how much of a winning player he is. You can go to his Wikipedia and look at all the majors that he's won, the premiers that he's finished high in, the premiers that he's won as well. It's just cash, dollar bills. It must be terrible from Time when he walks from his bed to his PC, tripping over all of that money, those stacks.
Yeah, it's actually, I think maybe newer fans to StarCraft 2 wouldn't know, but the Chinese scene is actually a little bit insane. They love their StarCraft, and they definitely put a lot of dollary dues into it.
Oh, yeah.
And they run a lot of tournaments, and their viewership is crazy too. Even in the early days, like when no one, I say no one, but like the international stage wasn't super invested in like Southeast Asia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, they were pulling thousands and thousands of views even then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we do have a Adept into Stalker here with the Twilight Council follow-up for Nanami, so it's not like super out of this world, just a pretty normal build so far. And Time, likewise, a 1-1-1 by the looks of things. Getting a reactor on the barracks, switch over with the factory, and begin the early game. Now, it's been pretty common for Time and a lot of Terrans to actually go into the Hellion and sometimes Reaper as well for a little bit of early map control.
Mm-hmm.
Can win fights against Adepts if you have a handful of Hellions, and you can also speedily get from A to B as well.
Absolutely, and we are diving straight into the blink here over in that Protoss base. Nice little lift to the depot there to prevent that shade from going any further, but we've just got the Adept on patrol here, sending out those shades, keeping tabs on what's going on. Is going to have to be a little bit careful that it doesn't get sizzled by those Hellions, but nice foresight by Protoss player here and pulling that back.
All right. And Time going for a real, like, sort of, very common, but I want to take the map away from you kind of opener, where you have the Hellions out the front to poke, forcing the Protoss to sort of chill and turtle a little bit. Probe does sneak out to get the third Nexus, which is good for Nanami. You know, losing that probe when you're going out to take the third is very annoying. That's what these Hellions can definitely do. That's why they're timed to come down here at that particular moment. And then going for a 4 Widowmine medevac drop. This is about as fast as you can get 4 Widowmines out with a medevac. And it's going to be pretty brutal to have to defend that while also, you know, being worried about your wall in, which Nanami actually, I think, might have full walled here.
Yeah, that looks like a full wall.
Huh.
All right. Well, he's gonna have to be on his toes here when that drop comes in. Time might split a couple across both bases. The Observer's almost out, but not quite yet. So he's got to try and get on top of those, get away, use a probe to bait the odd shot. Nice pull away in the natural. The Time actually picks back up, and he's going to go into the main. What does he have in the main?
Oh, at the moment, no units, but he is pulling the probes. Oh, they need to get the hell away from that gas geyser. Well,
oh my goodness.
That's unfortunate. You know, 17, that's more than an entire mineral saturation worth of probes. 1 Widowmine goes down, and I think Time's like, you know, that's fine. I lost my 3 Widowmines, but one of them got enough done that, you know, it's probably more than he dreamed. And also, Nanami's misclicked some of those probes. They're not all mining again. And the medevac is coming home. So this is obviously an incredible start for Time. Really, 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 really sick damage. I'm shocked by this full wall in. It's yeah. Like, how does he defend his third? What's the plan here? Was that intentional? Starting to think maybe not.
Yeah, maybe some early game jitters here or something. Oh, can't quite take a shot there.
Yeah.
And that is GG, folks. Whew, that
Hmm.
was maybe the quickest TVP in a minute. Really rough start for Nanami there.
Yeah, 5.5 minutes. I feel like I've seen some quicker back in the day, but you're right. That was one of the fastest ones in recent memory. And just a bit of a weird game from Nanami. Time didn't play super out of the ordinary. You know, Hellions at the beginning of a TVP is, you know, maybe new if you count the last 19 months new. But it's something that Terran's been doing in this matchup, and he poked the bear a little bit. He's like, hey, what's going on with these Hellions? Nanami goes for the full wall off, and with a double gas and then Cybercore as well. And I was like, what's the plan here with this build? It didn't look like anything special. I thought maybe he's trying to hide something nasty, like maybe he's getting, maybe he's going for something like a weird Dark Shrine. Maybe the third Nexus is a fake, but he wasn't really, exploding with gateways. He was taking these gases and he's natural. I'm like, I don't understand what Nanami's plan is here. And Time obviously got really, really lucky. Let's be honest. Like it very much was Nanami's mistake rather than Time's. Burrowing Widow Mines is not super hard. Mitigating probe damage on Widow Mines is pretty difficult. So,
yeah.
Unfortunately for Nanami, he blundered pretty heavily there, keeping the probes stationary for way too long in range of one Widow Mine.
Yeah, Time was basically just playing his normal game there, so that doesn't bode well for Nanami here. Hopefully he can pull it back. That looked like a bit of a nervous play.
Yeah, probably nerves.
Yeah, not sure what you're up against. You just want to seal yourself off from the world and execute your plan, but unfortunately that went a little bit pear-shaped, and a mind drop isn't exactly a new thing that's been happening. So
Terran's been doing it forever.
Yeah, hopefully he can just take a deep breath and regroup himself for the second game.
Yeah, and again, like this guy's very, very young. It's his first DreamHack Masters event. Like it's almost certainly just nerves and not being too switched on for game one. I'm gonna have a short break. When we return, can Nanami get himself a miracle win back to tie up the series in game two? Stay tuned, and we'll find out together. See you then. G'day StarCraft fans and welcome back to the DreamHack Masters main event here for China. I'm Maynard, with me is Zeph. We're in the midst of our first series, our first best of 3 to christen this inaugural season here for the DreamHack Masters main event for China, for the Atlanta event coming up in, oh gosh, not long.
Soon, TM.
Yeah, soon TM, but not even soon TM, just actually soon. And time currently on match point here against Nanami Chaki. Nanami having a very nervous game one there, not able to show their best game. But yeah, still very young, future bright, I'm sure. Being able to make top 8 at DreamHack, no slouch. Pretty competitive region as well.
Yeah. I think Data C was our second map. So
yep.
Hopefully...
Moon Dance is decider, I think.
Yeah, being a nice standard map, should be able to regroup and hopefully have a bit of a better go at it. It's still going to be an uphill battle. You know, it's hard to see a way for someone so new to win, but we'll see what can be done. Hopefully lasts a little bit longer than 5-ish minutes. That is definitely a rough start. It's definitely nerves as well. You don't qualify for the groups by sort of freaking out after a mine drop. So
yeah, the way that went down was just one of those games where you don't come back from that against someone like Time. You don't come back from that against most players. You know, it's just an unfortunate mistake that ended the game. Happens. Like Widowmines can do that, Banelings can do that, Disruptors can do that. It's a unit that can literally just win you the game from one move. It is something that exists in StarCraft 2. But anyway, on the far left here of Data C, represented by Kaiser Gaming, still after all this time. I wish I didn't say that word because it is time. We got to blow the dust off that thesaurus.
Yeah, we do. Every time it's a challenge. Over here in the top right from Mystery Gaming, this is Nanami.
Nani? He won the the music intro battle. Got the better song. Now this is some pretty vigilant scouting here from Nanami. Just making sure that everything's hunky-dory at the front there. And is you know, we'll keep an eye on that probe, see what's going on. And Time's gonna go for a multiple barracks opening. Now this is actually what I expected from Time in this entire series, is just a bunch of like 2 or 3 racks timing attacks. Like the simplest, easiest, safest thing to do, I feel.
Certainly, that's more or less what I expected as well. Mine drop opener makes sense too. Oh, denied. Very nicely done. I do wonder how Nanami's going to deal with this. Like, do you go Robo again and try and get an obs out? Because he seems very interested in scouting everything possible, staying as safe as possible. We've got the little wall there on the edge of the main in preparation
the Reaper ledge
for the Reapers. So he's just not interested in dealing with units at all if he can help it. So fair enough.
So multiple Reapers coming out of these barracks here. It's not your dad's 2-1-1. But usually I feel like a multiple Reaper opening is going to lend itself towards like going for a, I mean, Time could be memeing, but also, you know, going into factory and having those Reapers for your early game map control units, and then going into Hellions and whatnot next would be usually the play. But at the moment, we're actually seeing a third barracks from Time. So I'm feeling like he's either just going to keep making Reapers, or he's going to go for just a couple at the start just to own the map a bit, and then straight into Marines like normal.
3 Reapers heading now over to the Protoss base. Gonna see what they can get done. They will try this ledge.
Yeah. So not a whole lot they can do here. I mean, the one Stalker will be enough at the moment, especially with the Adept nearby to shoo them away. And oh, I love this. Nanami, yeah. Like you're unlikely to win a regular quote-unquote game against Time. Proxy your Dark Shrine. I like it. Perfect.
Yes. Usually when we see fresher players or the underdogs against Time, I'm always expecting cheese, because that's probably your best bet. You got to throw them a curveball and hope it works. If you play a standard game, I just don't think anyone's going to have that much luck unless they're the more experienced players like your Cyans, your Jaishis. So that makes total sense. And Time hasn't seen that little corner yet, so perhaps it may help. I don't think he's really seen anything in the main aside from this little ledge, right?
No, yeah, he's seen the ledge, and with that full wall off, this is part of the reason probably why Nanami picked Data C is that the natural is pretty easy to cover that ramp with your gateway units.
Oh
Oh
my
my god, he snuck
goodness.
in. The KD8 grenade jump. He's in. He's having a look here. Now, if he's super smart, you'll see the gases. You'll see he'll count the pylons.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Times realized that that villainy is afoot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you see all that gas and you see no tech, really. You're going to be like, okay, that's going to be going somewhere. Where is it? And the DT's already hitting the field here. Combat shield and stim happening. He didn't see the blips
No,
there?
yeah. I just saw them now. The DTs do come in, and that gives Time a little bit of leeway to be able to soak up a little bit of that damage and get that orbital energy ready for the scan. Wants to be able to get all of the DTs in one scan if possible. Losing DTs here is pretty bad for Time, but he can recover. Great start for Nanami, though. Great econ damage with these DTs.
Yeah, this is working out so far. He's got free reign of the Nat there. There is the attack from Time coming in, though. A bunch of Marines with those first two Reapers. How much damage can he get done? The overcharge goes off. He's gone for that pylon there, trying to wipe that out.
Yeah, that
But
pylon was powering most of the stuff at the front there, but Time's just going straight for the probe line. He's like, all right, I'm taking a lot of damage for these DTs. Let's try and hit back. If I can kill a lot of probes here, then I'm going to be able to turn this into a macro game. And he is killing a lot of probes here, Zeph, so he might have just got his wish.
yeah, beautiful read from Time, realizing that, okay, well, you're going for some tech, and you just don't have that much stuff otherwise. So
Shit.
he's free to come
That
in
is-
here, absolutely butcher that entire mineral line,
Oh
get
my
some
God.
units on his
Yeah.
way out even.
Yeah, that is way more damage than the DTs did to Time. I liked that start for Nanami, but being able to, that's what part of the reason why I like 3-racks build so much in TVP is you just have so many units. And if your opponent is proxying DTs, going for a really expensive tech very, very early in the game, great movement with those DTs, by the way, all still alive. You're not going to have much at home.
He's even got the Adept in the main there. I really like his tenacity here, the harassment, the looking after his units. But he took so much damage that even with the damage that he did back at Time's base, it's going to be pretty rough from here. He's going to come in with what he has left, 1 DT and a couple of Stalkers. There's a few more units rallying across the map. Bear in mind that Time doesn't have a whole lot of stuff here either, but he can pull the SCVs if he needs to.
Yeah, and I think he doesn't need to because he's got 3 racks worth of production pumping out 5 Marines at a time. And Nanami can't really make these DTs work too well for him anymore because there's a turret in each mineral line. So if they come near that natural, if they come in range of that natural, the Marines will be able to fight back.
And we finally have the medevacs on the field too, which
Yeah.
is going to make things easier for Time. And yeah, he just has to sort of run back to this location where there is detection every time that DT gets too fresh. You're absolutely right, Maynard. Those Marines coming out 5 at a time, that is going to add up so quick.
Yep, and Marines with medevacs is all he needs right now. He's getting +1 on the way here. Combat shield is done with stim, obviously, so these Marines are pretty tanky, pretty hard to crack, and don't believe Nanami's got blink. I think he's actually just going into charge, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought
He has
it.
got blink.
Oh,
Never
yeah,
mind.
okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so he's going to come in and try his luck here. He has not been probing much. He's mostly been making some extra units going for the charge here as well. So it makes me think he really wants to make something happen here, but he has now gone back to probing and put down a 3rd nexus. So he's going to try and sort of get out of this situation, build back his economy while he keeps up the pressure on the front doorstep of Time.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. Take a 3rd because I think you can probably tell that these blink stalkers aren't going to win the game for him. He needs to continue probing and turn this into a mid to late game. Time getting a little bit supply block there. His first 2 depots during that attack were a little bit late, but now that the tanks are out, this blink stalker shenaniganry is done. Nanami also doesn't have high ground vision. He need to make sentries. Doesn't have an observer in position, so can't really blink in the main and be cheeky in that way. So yeah, the tank is going to really shut things down. But Time is trying to get that Protoss force off of his front doorstep so he can take that 3rd CC.
Yeah, a lot of firepower there on those Marines, and Nanami not getting so fresh there now. I do like these continuing to try and pressure, be a pest at Time's base. Got to watch it with those siege tanks now, though.
Yeah, the siege tanks really slap those stalkers to pieces. Oh, Time is going to find the proxy. That's pretty lovely. Take the Dark Shrine off the table. if Nanami's paying attention, which he should have, because the bio just said you're under attack basically as they attack these structures. There was a Liberator flying past, so they're heading towards the main base. Nanami's got some units moving around the main to intercept, so hopefully he can stop that. Oh, good catch on that. Medevac nearly gets the second one as well, but still great move from Nanami.
Very nicely done, and he's finally starting to get something
I think at times
better
just
looking than
F2'd
that.
his Liberators.
Yeah, looks like it actually. Ooh, that's going to be a rough fight though. I was going to say he's finally getting a bit of a composition happening here as a Protoss player, but he's got nothing to deal with those Liberators. Oh, with the tank sieged up. The Storm's coming in from the side though.
Nanami. Getting a really good engagement there. The Stalker's coming back just in the nick of time there. And also the charge lot's running in here and literally nicking time. Cutting into pieces actually. Pushing back his bio, getting on top of those tanks. And the Terran's been pushed back with his tail between his legs into the natural. And Zeph, I don't mean to alarm you, but our Protoss 18-year-old wonderkind here is winning this game.
He absolutely is, and he's going for the throat now, blinking on top, targeting down the medevac, targeting down the siege tank to the best of his abilities. The boys are pulled to help out here, and he is beating this back. Another tank comes out, and it looks like he will hold on still. Does Nanami have enough to keep going with this attack?
He really wants to. You can see just from the first two games that Nanami seems to be pretty aggressive focused. But that initial trade there, like that beginning attack, I think Nanami could afford to be a little bit inefficient with it, but that was pretty inefficient. He did lose quite a bit.
These Zealots are quite tricky to deal with. A few more units going up into the main to deal with that Prism. Time still two-basing it here at almost 11 minutes in the game. The Protoss sitting on 3, now heading up towards the Templar Archives. So he could start getting some splash in the army, and that will definitely make a difference. But what is Time's plan from here? It looks like he's just massing up and going for it.
I think this is the right call. Like, Nanami he's making his first forge right now, Zeph.
Yeah.
So I think making this game go a little bit longer. Time is going to be, he is stronger than most players in mid to late game, especially in this region. He will out mechanics them. So the longer the game goes, Time can definitely get the win. But at the moment, Time's like, I have a really big army. I have enough tanks and Liberators to make this a pretty convincing push for me. So I'm going to go for it. And why not? I mean, I don't see a easy macro comeback for him because, there's a third Nexus out there, no third CC for Time. His third's been delayed forever. He's pulling the boys and he's just going for an all-in. So let's see if this works out. There are some Archons here. I think there are High Templar at the back line. I don't think they have Storm, but yeah, the Archons themselves with charge lots still going to be a little bit annoying for the bio and the SCVs.
Yeah, definitely no Storm yet. Those tanks and the Liberators forming the backbone of this army, and it's going to make it really difficult for the Protoss to push into this comfortably. He's just going to keep leapfrogging forward. Not sure if he's still got the War Prism going. It looks like he's got some units behind, maybe to draw the siege tank fire. That could be really nice. They've just sieged up. He's going for it. That is a lot of damage output from Time's army. There's still a fair bit of Protoss standing, but it is melting away to the firepower of those Marines. And GG, there you have it.
Yeah, the SCVs really did